two, and
Here we go.
one. All right, we are back. We're back on,
Yes.
right?
Yes,
We
we
are
are.
on.
We click the button. The lights on. The lights on. All right.
The red lights on. Okay, welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Av Files, where we dive into the strange, the unexplained, and the terrifying. I'm your host, Av, and I'm joined once again by Daniel Arias. What's up, Daniel?
What's going on? Good to be here. Good to be here. It's a good day. Good day. You know, we're waiting to get hit by snow. What's
Again,
new?
again.
Again. This time it's for real. Um, yeah, man. No, started the new job. It's kicking my butt. Trying to work into the trying to figure out the new work life schedule and the balance. That's where I'm at. I'm just like, there's even less time now to do the stuff that I want to do, which is just being an adult. So I'm here for it. But I do like this. This is my official end of the week. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited. What about
Cool,
you? Anything
cool, man.
anything going on in your neck of the woods?
No, just work. That's it. Just work.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then trying to get these episodes out, and
Who knows when they'll see this one?
yeah, who knows? Because with the snow coming, you never know. We might get stuck. This might
We
never come out. This
listen,
might never be shown.
listen, man. My internet connection is so terrible. I have country Wi-Fi. Just country internet. Anytime there's an ice storm or some drunk idiot wraps his truck around a pole, it shuts off the grid. So that happened to me when I was trying to do I was doing a reaction. All the power went off in the house.
Oh, dang.
I wanted to
That's
edit
one.
that. I wanted to edit that into like a blooper clip because
Yeah.
I was still recording. I just couldn't see shit because all the lights went off. I was just in the darkness. I was like, "This is magical. This is
Yeah.
magical." But anyway, yeah,
Well, yeah. So we'll get into the story, but before we do that, if you guys are enjoying it, please subscribe, comment, like, share. That every little bit helps the channel grow just a little bit more. Thank everyone for all the subscribers. We're marching on to 1,000.
yeah. I mean, honestly, that road is being trampled underneath us. We are
Yeah,
marching along,
we're on our way.
man, like a
All
like
right.
a like a virus spreading.
Like a
Anyway,
South African virus.
yeah,
Yeah.
like a South African virus that spreads to, very like that's oddly specific.
It
Sorry.
slowly kills you.
It's slowly like I believe we're the Ebola podcast.
Yeah. Like the
Put that
black
on a
thing.
yeah, put that on a shirt. Infecting you
We are,
guys one by one.
we are the black plague of podcast.
Yes. Yes. Oh my god, dude.
Right. So on today's episode, we'll be taking you to a small town in Illinois, place you never expect to be the setting of one of the most bizarre cryptid encounters in American history. And yes, we are doing a cryptid, another one. We haven't
Yes.
done one in a while.
We haven't. We
No, we
haven't.
haven't done it. I feel like we've kind of like started down a different path. We did like Mob One, did a couple murders, strange murders here and there, some top fives. Let's get
Hollywood
back to
murders,
some
yeah.
cryptid.
We gotta
You
get
know?
we gotta get back to what built it. This is the first video we've ever done was the 100 cryptids of the world. And we didn't even
Yeah,
finish that list. But yeah.
we have trumpet.
Yeah, we did like
um,
top 20.
we are we are talking about the Enfield monster, creature so strange, so terrifying that it left a small community in fear, which sparked a brief monster hunt and remains one of the most baffling cases of the unknown. The Enfield monster is a bizarre creature or cryptid, I don't know, depending on your take on it, that was reported in Enfield, Illinois in April 1973. It gained notoriety due to a series of reported strange encounters that terrified local residents of which again sparked a monster. They actually were out hunting this thing.
Hmm.
Illinois, you know. Um,
Hmm.
it became one of the most bizarre creature sightings in American cryptid lore, primarily because of its unusual physical description and the fear it installed in those who encountered it. Enfield incident of 1973 in Enfield, Illinois, has intrigued both the public and researchers for decades. Following the initial reports, the event garnered significant media attention, leading to various investigations and analysis.
Hmm. I want to know. I want to. I think that there must be a statistic out there that shows when when drugs were normalized, like in the 70s, and how many cryptids were seen. There has to be a graph because a lot of these cryptids crept into mainstream around the 70s.
So you think they were drug induced?
No, I'm just
Could
saying
well,
it. I,
no, not
I
not
think
saying
it's
that you think.
interesting.
Do you think that they might have been drug induced? Could I
I,
mean, is it a possibility? Is that
I,
a
so,
theory? We should add that to the list.
sometimes the people they get that seen some shit, they'll
I
be
mean,
the ones that on some shit.
yeah.
I don't know. I just like the lady in the rollers, in the nightgown and the moo going. I seen it. Like, did you, Karen? Like, did you? Like, couldn't have been just a bad Thursday and your opioids didn't wear off.
Maybe some. Maybe I mean, it's Illinois, so you think it was maybe some
Meth.
bad moonshine, a
Yeah,
bad batch.
yeah, maybe. Anyway, I'm just saying there has to be a correlation, possibly that exists out there. Maybe I'm off the mark, but okay, what is it?
It
Illinois.
could have been. Hey,
I've
hey, we
never.
just spitballing here, right?
Yeah, I've never met anyone from Illinois, so it could not exist. It couldn't.
I
Maybe it's not a big place or a real place.
I don't think I've ever have either.
So to me, it's still mythical. I've never been to Atlantis. Fight me, like you know, I, I put Illinois and Atlantis on the same place.
Are they real?
Are they real? I've never been,
Right.
never met anyone from Illinois. So
It is Illinois a real place, or is that like Antarctica?
yeah, Antarctica. Oh man.
Strange things happening. People can go there, but are they really there?
And if they ever go, I've never met them, so they've obviously never come back. So it
They've
could
never
be.
come back, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is this? Illinois is fake.
um. Okay. So
You heard
what?
it here
So
first.
yeah. So what is? Okay. What is the description of this cryptid? Like.
Okay, so back to the story. So
Yeah.
back on the night of April 25th, 1973, it was quiet, human night in the small, quiet town of Enfield, Illinois. The streets are empty. The homes are dimly lit. This is a place where nothing extraordinary happens. Where the biggest concern is the next morning's chores. Nothing out of the ordinary. That is, until Henry McDaniel, a local resident, experienced something that would change his life and the town forever. Henry McDaniel and his wife had just returned home that evening with when something completely unexpected happened. At around 9:30 p.m., McDaniel's children, who had been home alone for a short time, told him that something had tried to get inside the house. They were frightened, claiming they had heard a strange scratching sound at the front door. McDaniel, assuming it was a stray dog or some other animal, because they lived in the middle of Illinois somewhere, so who knows, like some raccoon or I don't know what kind of animals they have in Illinois. I'm just assuming a raccoon, a
Yeah.
dog, cat. I don't know.
Yeah.
Didn't think much of it at first, but then he heard it too. A low, eerie scratching against the wooden frame of his home.
Oh
Curious?
my God.
Right. Yeah. I mean, come on. You just
Like.
came home. Your kids are like telling you there's something outside,
Yo.
scratching at the door. They were they were
You,
scared.
yeah. You're like, yeah, right. And then you hear it, and you're like, it goes from yeah, right to oh shit.
So
Like.
like, you're right.
Uh. Yeah. I don't know, man. Oh, dude.
But I'm sure he came home and he was like, Bobby, you shut on you quiet down there over there.
Then again, you're scratching on some. I don't know if they're rednecks. They could be high profile society. I don't know. I don't know.
It's a
Um.
small town in Illinois.
Yeah. I
That's like saying West Virginians are, upper class.
can I be stupid real quick for a second? Not just for a second, probably for the
No,
rest of my life.
not here.
Isn't Chicago in Illinois?
True.
Oh God. So never mind. Oh God, I feel like an idiot. You never go full.
Wait, no, wait. But I mean, I've never met anybody from
No,
people said
me
they're
neither.
from Chicago, but it's not like Illinois. Like, I'm from
No, no,
Illinois.
no, no. Exactly. People from Chicago are from Chicago, never
Right.
Illinois.
Totally different, man.
Totally
Totally
different.
different.
Totally
Two
different
two different
place.
worlds.
Totally different place.
It's like Alexandria, Virginia, and like deep Virginia.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Ex-
two different worlds.
two different worlds. Correct. Okay.
You
Good.
know,
Anyway, yeah, I've never. Yeah,
not
exactly.
that wasn't a stupid question. As it did throw me off there for a minute. That wasn't dumb.
It
That was
was just.
actually
It was
like,
just mulling
you know
over.
what?
Like,
It's
am
just
I
like, wait
that
a minute.
stupid?
Yeah, it
Chicago,
is.
Illinois makes sense together. Are they in the same state? Like,
It's the other Illinois.
that's the other one. The new Illinois. I forgot.
Right.
Oh God. But
Uh,
okay. So anyway, the guy comes home. Kids are frightened. Honestly, to me, one of the scariest sounds out there. Especially, okay, there are two sounds that creep me out. Right, scratching on any sort of doors. Right, scratching on any sort of doors, any sort of structure. If you scratch, that's just something not good is happening. Or
mhm.
a child's laughter if you don't have children. Like that's scary.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
two things are the ones thing that, like, if there's a kid laughing and there's no kids to be seen, get out. Get out.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. That's like
No,
not
get
something that
yeah. Or random screaming help in the woods. Get out. Just get out. Those three. Those three are my top tier. So it automatically, that noise elevates me to code red. Like scratching at the door, no. Uh-uh. Uh-uh.
right. No, yeah. It's like what's going on? What is that?
No,
Right?
no, because no, like you said, like a wild animal isn't going to scratch at a door. A wild animal is not going to scratch at a door. It's going to naturally avoid a place that has people. Animals are Wild animals are afraid of people. They're not going to come up and scratch on doors.
Well, and again, not um I would assume only because of what do you call it?
Duendes.
That too, but rabies.
Oh, rabies. Yes.
Rabies.
Yes.
That's where I would think like maybe there was like a scratching or something like that, right?
Yeah.
They would come out like a raccoon isn't going to come out during the daytime to your front door unless it had rabies,
Yeah.
and then it comes out in the day. I mean, that's what
Yeah.
I've heard. I don't know
Yep.
if that's true or
Yep.
not, but that's what I've
Yep.
just heard. If a nocturnal animal comes out during the daytime, chances are it has rabies
Yeah. Yeah.
or
My
it's hurt or something, right?
in my old house where I lived in the country. Well, I still live in the
Hmm.
country, but out there when I lived in the middle of a fucking field, we had a fox that had rabies come up to the house. It was just
Oh, no
acting
kidding.
weird, and we had to call the police because we didn't have animal control. Animal control should have been in our house. I
I
have
thought you
one.
had. I thought you
I
had
have
animal control.
no. Now I do, but not when I was a kid. We didn't have animal control then. So we called the police and they came out and shot it. So that's what they did. It was different times then, simpler
Yeah,
times, simpler times.
it was simpler
Like,
times there, son.
hey, Jim, I think this fox has rabies. On it, just come out like like
Right.
like it was acting really weird.
They have like those pickup trucks with the 50 cal from like Black Hawk Down. Pop, 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 pop. Yeah.
The warlord Tacoma 5000. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh
Yes.
God.
Oh man. Yeah, that'd be actually pretty cool. That'd be cool. There he is. Get him.
We're like, this
Get
is
him,
pest control on the side of your
Peter.
truck.
Yeah,
Like,
it's like
what's
spray
that?
painted on.
I'm pretty sure they have that in West Virginia.
I'm pretty sure they
I'm
do too.
pretty sure. I'm pretty sure, and their business is probably booming.
Yeah.
Oh,
Always.
that's a good pun.
Well, curious and slightly annoyed, he grabbed a flashlight and his 22 pistol. He stepped toward the front door, twisted the knob, and swung it open. And that's when he saw it. Standing just outside the threshold was a creature unlike anything he had ever seen. It stood roughly about 5 feet tall, maybe a little taller than 5 feet, right? With
Oh,
large, glowing red eyes that reflected the flashlight beam. Its body was covered in what seemed like slimy grayish skin, and perhaps some disturbingly, it had it had 3 legs.
what?
Yeah, it had 3 legs. Um, the arms were short, almost useless looking, but its claws were sharp, curling at the tips like talons. Daniel, stunned, reacted instinctively. He raised his pistol and fired.
Fuck yeah, Daniels. Fuck yeah.
I mean,
Swing away. Swing
Swing,
away.
swing away, Merle.
Fucking ask questions later.
Yeah, don't
That's what you do.
do it. Yeah, so you open the door, and this thing
Fucking
has
yeah.
3 legs, and it's got little
Claws.
arms, and it's all I don't
Instantly, it
know.
goes through your checklist. It's like, is it a human? Is it something I don't know? Because if it's something I don't know, guess what? I can shoot it
I,
legally.
I think at that time too, like and around that time, and in Illinois, if you shot at it, and it killed it, and it just happened to be a person, they probably wouldn't even think too much of it.
No, listen. If it's threatening your family, I think in every state you have a stand your ground law at the very minimum.
Right.
You know. So yeah, no, 100%. Pop open. You're like, I got my little pew pew, which really is what it is. A 22 is
Yeah,
tiny,
and I'm actually surprised they had
tiny.
22.
Yeah, I thought it was like shotgun or bust out
Right.
there in Illinois. Like, I'm gonna get my little plinker, might as well got the air gun. But okay, so he shot this nightmare creature with a
Or
little
he
BB.
shot this thing, right? The
Yeah.
shots rang out into the night. The bullets hit, but the creature barely reacted. It let out a snake-like hiss, a strange noise that McDaniel would later describe as something between a screech and a growl. Then, in one swift motion, it leaped away, covering an incredible distance in just a few bounds before disappearing into the darkness. Shaken, McDaniel slammed the door shut and called the police. When authorities arrived, they found claw marks on his siding and tracks in the dirt, deep, inhuman prints with 3 distinct footpads, unlike anything they had ever seen before. The next night, McDaniel wasn't the only one to encounter the beast. Neighboring residents reported seeing a strange creature lurking around their homes, moving with unnatural speed. One young boy, Greg Garrett, claimed that he had been attacked earlier that same evening. He said the creature scratched at his feet, tearing his shoes before running off. His story, though dismissed by some, only added to the growing sense of fear in Enfield. So he's saying that this creature came after him,
No, it would have killed
um,
him. It would have killed him.
but
I don't believe him.
I guess he's scared it off or whatever. Some people are. Well, I mean, in any case, people are always going to say, "No, you're full shit."
Yeah. No, I'm thinking like, okay, it's 5 feet and it moves at an unnatural speed. Like, you've already created this nightmare situation. And you know what? I feel I'm proud of Daniels at the time. Is Daniels, right?
Like,
I'm proud
yeah,
of this. I'm proud of this man. At the same time, I'm disappointed. I'm
did they
disappointed at
kill it?
him because he had the one chance. He had his one shot, literally. He had his one shot to stop it. I'm like,
Yeah,
bam, we got it. And he
couldn't do it.
brought a pencil to a knife fight. You know what I mean? Like, and hear me out on this. I'm assuming it's a small little town, like a podunk town, right? So
I mean,
word,
73 in Illinois. That's what I'm thinking.
yeah.
Okay, I'm
So
not thinking.
so no, you're not thinking Metropolis needs a
No, yeah,
Batman.
I'm not thinking like it's some big
Yeah,
town. It's not Chicago itself,
yeah,
but
yeah. So I'm thinking word travels fast, and word travels fast in a small town.
yeah,
Period. Like, if I was Daniels, I'm calling my next door neighbors immediately. Like, get this thing. After I call the cops, obviously. Call the cops. Like, hey, look, there's, you know, that's the terrifying part. You call the police, they come out, there's scratch marks that you didn't even know existed all over your house. Because remember,
all
you
over the
just
place.
got home. You just got home hey, kids, how are you? Hey, there's a nightmare creature scratching at our house. Bullshit. Go outside. Fucking Lucifer right there in the doorway. You you plink it with a little BB gun, and it fucks
All he
off.
did really was just scare it off and
Yeah,
probably piss it off.
that's probably what it was. That's probably what it was. It was the noise that probably scared it.
Yeah,
Um, and then the cops just reaffirm that there's just 3 pads and that there's scratch marks all over your house. Like, that's terrifying, dude.
Oh man.
That means that thing was trying to get into to get your family. Like, that's terrifying.
Yeah. Heck yeah. I mean, yeah, I would think he'd have a bigger gun.
Yeah, that's what I'm yeah, yeah, exactly. If I can see woods from my house, I'm getting bigger guns. Just period. Because woods will woods.
Yeah.
Woods
Yeah.
are gonna wood.
Always.
Shit
Every time.
happens in the woods. Whatever.
So by April 26th, the entire town was buzzing with speculation. Some believed it was an unknown cryptid, something yet to be discovered by science. Others whispered about aliens. 5 feet tall, grayish, slimy looking skin, and
Alien.
alien. Even government experience gone wrong. But whatever
Ooh.
it was real enough to terrify the townsfolk. As the days passed, reports continued to trickle in. One resident claimed to have seen the creature lurking near the railroad tracks on the edge of town. Another swore they saw its glowing eyes peering at them from the tree line late at night. Some were convinced it was watching them, waiting, hunting. The fear in town grew. As more people got involved, including amateur monster hunters, the sightings only increased. Groups patrolled the woods at night, armed and ready, hoping to catch a glimpse or maybe even kill the beast. However, by early May, sightings began to dwindle down and the creature seemed to vanish. But had it really disappeared or was it just waiting for the right moment to return? While 1973 was the peak of the Enfield monster's notoriety, strange encounters didn't stop there. Throughout the years, reports continued to surface in the late 1980s. A truck driver claimed to have seen a creature matching the description crossing a deserted stretch of road outside of town. In 2003, two campers reported hearing gurgling growls and heavy footsteps near their campsite. Could it be the same entity or something else
Hmm.
lurking in the shadows of Illinois? Probably some homeless guy
Yeah.
waiting for them to go to sleep so he could
I
take
lost my
advantage
other
of them.
leg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, here's my other leg.
Yeah. No, dude. Okay. I it's first of all, it's gotten out of control when you have monster hunters.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
They're more of a liability, you know. What is the monster hunter's track record? In general, insert any monster hunter. What is their track record? Unless you're like Van Helsing, or the next, and Van Helsing has a good track record. The next up is Gaston from Beauty and the Beast. He tracked it. He couldn't
he
kill it.
did get the beast. He did find it.
He did find it though. So he did what he was supposed to do. Got the town, got the torches, didn't complete the task,
Right,
right?
right.
But he found it. So I'm just
But he
saying
found
that,
it.
yeah, the monster
He has a
trackers,
better good. He has a better track record than
his
most other monster hunters
monster
of today.
hunters. Yeah, so it like and then what happens? You get these mobs, right, in the woods, which are basically your good old boys, all hyped up with guns. Not good. Not good.
Never good. Never good.
Yeah,
Uh,
man.
so some skeptics have tried to dismiss the creature as a misidentified. It's so funny, as a misidentified kangaroo.
Get
I
out
don't
of
know.
here.
I don't know. That's it's
Oh my
it's a
god.
misidentified kangaroo, an owl, or even just a hoax. Well,
An,
yeah, okay.
an owl?
I mean,
Holy shit.
I guess I
That's
don't know how. I don't know how an owl doesn't come up. There's no, as far as I know, there's no 5 foot tall owl, and it doesn't come over scratching on people's doors.
Mothman. Mothman. James Mothman.
Yeah,
You
he's at
know,
it again. Maybe it is the Mothman.
I'm just saying that's crazy. But I thought
Maybe it
the
is. Actually,
Mothman
that's not a
was
bad idea. Maybe it is the Mothman that went over to Illinois.
but that's a different change. That's a different pattern though. He didn't Mothman didn't scratch. He just weirded out and just flew away.
I
Like
mean, hey, you never know. You're probably doing something different.
you switch it up. It's like I
Switch it up
can't.
for him.
Yeah. But you know what though? Okay, a kangaroo like
Oh no,
get
I don't
out of
know.
here.
I think that was just their way of like trying to come up with an excuse. You know what I mean?
All those all those kangaroos with slimy gray skin.
Yeah, yeah.
and
Those
and
darn
and I guess
kangaroos
one leg,
from Australia coming over here.
just one leg that it stands up on.
Um,
Oh,
but those who saw it firsthand, people like Henry McDaniel, never wavered in their stories. Even decades later, McDaniel would insist that what he saw that night was real. If they don't believe me, he once said, that's their problem. But I know what I saw.
yo, I would fucking leave. I would leave if I saw something like that. I'm like, we're getting out of here. We are
That's
getting.
not for you.
Yeah, I would just think if I shot it and it didn't go down, I'm leaving. I'm leaving because then this thing has either if it remembers stuff, if it's smart, then it has a vendetta against me for putting a hole in it, right? And I don't need the John Wick of cryptids coming back and trying to
Right,
take
yeah.
me out. I'm leaving. Um,
Yeah, you
and
don't want
also
that.
you never know if you see one. What's your assumption? There's going to be more because
There's gotta be another one,
when
right?
is there
There's
ever
gotta be.
one of something that isn't a human?
Right.
It's so I'm like, okay, government experiment on kangaroo, maybe
Could be.
a hoax. If it's a hoax, the kid in this Simon Green costume would have been dead. He would have been
Yeah,
dead,
yeah.
and there would have been a
No kid
missing
is gonna
kid.
be that good of getting away with
Yeah,
someone trying to shoot him.
and there's a
Uh,
missing kid in town. Like,
There
where's
wasn't
Sammy?
anybody. As far as I
Yeah,
know, there
they're
wasn't anybody missing.
interesting.
Yeah. So since the initial sightings in 1973, reports of the Enfield monster have been sporadic, with no widely documented encounters in recent years. The creature remains the subject of local folklore and occasional speculation, but verifiable sightings have not been reported. So also there's been theory. There's always theories, right?
Yeah.
Always theories. So one of the theories was a government cover-up of a mutant experiment. One of the
Okay.
more intriguing theories is that the Enfield monster was the result of a government experiment gone wrong, possibly a genetic mutation or a bioengineering experiment that escaped or was released into the wild. This idea stems from the monster's unnatural physical characteristics, which witnesses described as having like three legs, short, stubby arms ending in claws, glowing red eyes, a strange hopping motion, and an eerie screeching sound. This theory is bolstered by the fact that the government has been known to conduct biological experiments in secret, including projects like MK Ultra. Again, it's been mentioned MK Ultra,
Jesus, we need
radiation
a
exposure tests, and even classified animal hybrid
hy-
hybrids study.
hybridization.
Yes,
Got it.
yeah,
Yes.
studies. Right. Um, but I tell you this, and when I was reading this, it brought back an old memory.
Okay.
Um, it was actually an old memory of your mother,
Okay.
who showed me a picture one day of this. It looked like a dog. I remember she took the picture. Um, did she take the picture, or she had a picture, or she looked? Anyway, she said it looked like a dog, but it looked like something else, and it was in your backyard.
Yeah.
And she saw it from the kitchen window, and she said she swore that there's a government facility not too far down the road because of all the big land and stuff like
Yeah.
that. That that's I think she said that was the first time she saw it, but she swore that she had seen or other things had escaped that they were doing um,
Interesting.
those kinds of experiments.
I
I
wouldn't.
never forgot that.
I wouldn't put it past that because there's a big. I want to say it's a black site here because I've never
Mhm.
gotten an answer. I've never gotten an answer from anyone what this place is, but I know that it always has police around it, right? It always has police around it. Don't know what it is. It's an unmarked area. Um, but usually if it's a black site, the GPS is blacked out right there. Obviously,
Mhm.
that's why it's called
Right.
black site, right?
Right.
Um, and we're right where we are now isn't that far away from where we used to live. So if
Hmm.
something, let's say, popped out here, I could have made it down there. You know, I believe that.
Yeah. I
Then
would never,
again,
dude. I
then
never forgot that when she told me. I was like, really? Like, I didn't think that your mom like believed in that, but she said that there was she she was pretty sure that there was some facility down the road where they did experiments or they did something with animals,
huh?
and she said that this animal had must have gotten out, and it wasn't the first time.
Interesting. Because I know that we've seen stuff with mange, like with no
Hmm.
hair. Like we've seen
Yeah.
foxes with no hair, like that weird gray. Like
Hmm.
yeah, we've seen that. Like we've seen that in our yard. And guys, for those of you listening, my backyard wasn't your normal person's backyard. It's not like my property line stopped. My property line was there, but behind my property was more property.
It
Like
was just it was
it was
yeah.
field. It was a
We're,
field.
we're
It went
back there.
from
There was a big field. Yeah.
it went for I think it was like 10 acres of just field straight
And
back.
it's really like one of those things where you would think that like an alien would come down and like land somewhere.
Oh, 100%. I was like, yep, it's that's why I didn't watch scary movies, guys. That's why I didn't like we lived in that spot where the shit happens. We lived there. That house, whatever you're
Yeah.
picturing right now, that's the house I lived in. Um, but you know it's funny now that you mention it. My grandmother, um, driving to come over to our house one day, swore she almost hit a panther.
Really?
Yeah, like some dark big cat on the middle of the road near in Laytonsville,
Well,
where I was
did
close.
she mean like a mountain lion, like a mountain type lion or
Yeah,
something like
but
that?
it was black.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, she said it was
Really?
black. I was like, damn. So yeah,
She
that's what. Yeah.
was she sure that it was a panther or a bear?
No, it had a big tail. That's what she
Oh, okay.
focused on. She said it
Well,
had a
I'm just
long
curious because I
tail.
know every once in a while we get black bears around here.
Oh, for sure we do, but it wasn't like that. She said it jumped like a cat and it had a long tail.
Huh. And
So
I know, and
that's
I've heard that there's mountain lions around here.
oh yeah.
That I've never seen one. People, very, very rarely someone says that they've seen one around,
Yeah.
but they always say like, obviously it sees you before you even
Yeah,
see
for
it.
sure. For sure. And I mean mountain lion would thrive in this state. Up
Mm,
north, up north, up north, like yeah, that mountain lion would thrive. It would have no predators except humans,
yeah.
but mountain lions are masters of hiding. Um, but what has three legs? See, here's my thing. The description of it has three legs and it can move quickly. Usually, I'm thinking like if it's a government mutant, right? We haven't perfected mutation. So
Hmm.
it's probably just absolutely suffering, which means it's a monster that's slowly dying.
That's dying. Yeah.
You know,
Well, I'm thinking they probably it's one of those like one of those like Nazi style type experiments. What if we attach another leg to this and what does
oh
it
yeah,
do? And type of thing.
yeah,
I know that some government places still do testing on
like
animals and
stem cell shit.
yeah, stuff like that. So I'm wondering if this, I mean, again, they were doing some experiment and it did happen to get out, you know,
Yeah,
maybe.
I. It's you know what though for me on this story, this cryptid story, it's easier for me to believe alien. Like it's easier for me to believe extraterrestrial.
Hmm.
I- because it doesn't add up. Usually, if it's like a government experiment, right? Um, like if if it got out, there's signs. There's going to be signs like you're going to know something got out without knowing something got out. When the
Right.
all of a
Yeah.
sudden your town has a bunch of black explorers in it or expeditions, you know, and all the roads are randomly closed. Like,
I think at
and
that
there's
time it'd be like big black Buicks, right?
oh yeah, or Hummers, just Hummers,
Well,
you
no,
know.
no. In '73, I don't think they had Hummers.
I think we did the first one.
'73. But I'm saying like I would assume more of maybe they did. I would assume more like the big, black
Yeah,
Cadillac Buick type cars
yeah,
coming in,
it, yeah, exactly. But they would have shown up in force
Oh, definitely, yeah.
to,
Hummers or
especially
or or Cadillacs, whatever. You
yeah,
would see them. You would
yeah,
know. They would
you would
definitely
know they
stand
were
out.
there. You would know
Yeah,
something's off,
yeah.
right? Especially when they would close off, cordon off certain roads, and there would be helicopters, and yeah, there would be stuff that would signify, hey, something could have escaped. But that didn't happen in Enfield.
Mm,
So I'm thinking, let me just put on my foil hat real quick.
mhm.
I'm thinking what the thing that's easiest to explain it would be alien. That that would check all the boxes. It would explain why it came
It
here and
it's
disappeared.
tall. It's not a tall, but it's 5 foot, grayish. You know, at night if you see something skinny and it looks gray, probably looks clammy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They probably were like, "Oh, it's gross," and they try to shoot at it, but didn't do anything to them
I
anyway.
wonder I wonder if there's a big body of water near Enfield.
I don't know.
Because
Are you going the signs route?
no, I'm just saying, how we have the snallygaster apparently, which is part dragon, part octopus, part kraken, part Pegasus, you know,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it
Part penguin.
thrives in water, you know? And like I wonder if did it come from the water? Because there's this thing where aliens have shit in the water. Like there's a theory out there that we're looking in the wrong direction. Instead of looking up, we should be looking underwater, for a lot of this stuff.
Right.
Um, and I was like, maybe if it is something like that, it could, it could be that. I just because obviously, look, if it's like an alien ship, how did it get here, right? How
Hmm.
did it get here?
There's not a big body
Usually,
of water. There's not a
okay.
big, like, huge body of water.
Then it got dropped off.
There's
Maybe
like little lakes. There's a creek.
no, yeah, no creeks. No.
Yeah, no. There's like one main road that runs through the town. So it's a small place. It really is. So it's a little community.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, it's what it looks like anyway. Fuck.
I'll put a
A
I'll put
little,
a graphic up on the screen.
yeah.
Um,
Um, So you were talking about aliens, though. So another theory is paranormal or interdimensional entity. Some researchers believe that the Enfield monster wasn't a creature in the traditional sense, but an entity that briefly entered our reality. This theory is supported by the creature's strange, unnatural movement, as if it wasn't fully subject to gravity. I guess they're saying that
like it was like
his movements
glitching.
were. I guess he was like not glitching, but I guess he's like gliding across and moved funny. Um, if you're not fully supported by gravity, I guess you glide more along. Easier for you to move like a balloon, I guess. But moving faster, obviously. You know
Interesting.
what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I'm guessing. I'm just
Huh.
guessing. Its ability to seemingly vanish without a trace, connections to other paranormal events, notably sightings of unexplained lights in the sky around the same time, hinting at possible UFO involvement.
What
Um,
there was lights in the sky during
so
this
yeah,
time?
they're saying that there were lights in the sky around that same time, probably before, after, during of seeing it. So it could be that it was a UFO.
Hmm.
Um,
I
yeah,
I mean, like you had like an ET scenario, but just instead
yeah.
of like a friendly
Without,
weird,
yeah, without him actually being our friend and learning how to speak our language.
it dropped this
Um,
snot monster off.
right,
Yeah.
yeah. Instead of like, Elliot, ET go home and he's like,
Yeah, yeah, and then
I'm gonna eat you.
pew pew. Yeah. Um,
Um,
I, for me, I'm going. There's this thing that I've always thought about. It's like, what if how like all these cryptids always seem kind of sort of blurry. Like there's
yeah,
never like here it is, and there is its shadow. It's like it's always like blurry. It's always fucking like dimly lit. It's always
like it just happened to move, just a little bit at the right time, and it looks like it was going 500 miles an hour.
yeah, and like what if like we touched on this from the man from Torrid, right?
Yes.
What if it's one of those things? What if like it we had some sort of rift and that shit just kind of like fell out of its time and into ours, and like
Not knowing where he is, and he just goes back. I mean, it could
like
be
I'm
anything's possible.
I'm thinking of more like Man in the High Cat, or what is that High Castle thing?
No, yeah, you're right. Man in the High
That
Castle.
like that kind of scenario where it's like boom here, boom there. What the fuck is happening? Kind of thing. And to a lot of these cryptids, I'm thinking that would explain a lot of shit.
It could.
Um,
It could. I mean, they could be interdimensional beings where they just happen to, at certain times, jump from their world to ours.
and we just have
And
more eyes now than we
yeah,
did
yeah.
then, and so everything now is like recorded. But you know what though? Even with that logic, we would have a lot more cryptids now. If that were the case, just by sheer number and sheer like, we have more of a population now. We're more better suited to instantly record things.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone has a camera, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
We would have almost an influx of sightings of random stuff like cryptids or creepy things happening that we can't explain. And we're kind of sort of keeping this like this grouping of sightings, and
Mm-hmm.
we're like it's not going up or down. So that's one thing that I would say would dispel that argument that I just made. Is like, okay, we have more people, we have more technology, we have more lenses, but the sightings haven't gone up. So there's that. That's you know uh, and because then it takes the randomness away from it, right? Then
Mm-hmm.
it's like it's interdimensional because it wants to be interdimensional. Then you have that's a whole different level. I'm more of the accidental rift through time, like rift through dimensions, like, oh, not supposed to be in this timeline or this planet, right? And get corrected back
Maybe
randomly.
there's maybe that happens, and maybe there's like Men in Black, like Will Smith. Maybe there's people that go and catch them, monster hunters that actually do catch them and take them back to their original place.
Or this dimension could be the Australia of cryptids. They
Could
just
be.
send them here. They're like, oh, fucking, this is too dangerous for our timeline. Send them there.
Send them over here.
We get all the intergalactic, interdimensional prisoners on Earth. We have the one Harry prisoner that they release in the wilderness.
Right. Um, Again, some have suggested that it's a government animal experiment. Um, we touched on that in the story where
Yeah.
they thought it was a kangaroo. Some speculate that it may have been a mutated kangaroo, explaining its hopping motion and strange limbs. A lamb created hybrid creature, or a lab created hybrid creature.
A lamb. I was like, a
A
lamb
lamb. I was
created?
like,
Shit.
well, it could be a
Like
lamb too. You
like
never
like
know.
Dolly, like the
They're
one
just
we
like
cloned.
they're just sticking stuff together. A government test subject used in classified research. Considering that Illinois is home to multiple research facilities, some believe the Enfield monster was an escaped specimen from a secret military or scientific project. Possible, possibly, right?
Yeah, well, I mean,
Um,
kangaroo though. Would we ever test on a kangaroo? I mean, granted, kangaroo are just prison deer.
I mean, they test on any animal, just to see what happens. It's not like it has. I don't think it would be so specific as to the area. Probably just, hey, what if we put a tiger,
A tigeroo. A
Right,
Tigger.
yeah,
Who made Tigger?
yeah, they could maybe they were trying to actually make Tigger.
Project Christopher Robin.
Project Tigger.
Uh,
Project Project
hundred
100 Acre Woods.
Project 100 Acre Woods, bro. That's terrifying. That's terrifying. But yeah,
Well, so lesser known theories suggest the Enfield monster was a case was deliberately orchestrated by intelligence agency as a psychological operation, a psyop. This would mean that the creature was actually a fabricated story, perhaps with planted witnesses or staged encounters. The goal could have been to study how rumors and fear spread in small communities, similar to how the CIA and military have experimented with social control in projects like Operation Northwoods or Project Mockingbird. This theory is reinforced by the sudden media blitz and how quickly the case was downplayed and dismissed despite multiple witnesses, including local law enforcement. Basically, just hey, let's see if we do this, how they react.
well,
Use them as guinea pigs in a way.
but you don't gain nothing. Like that
No,
little
but
bit
it
of that
but
little
they
bit
get
of.
to see like can they are they like I guess if they spread false information, how quickly will it spread to cause hysteria, type of stuff like that. It's a psychological thing. It doesn't have to make sense.
I mean,
It's
but
a test to
dude,
see, like,
but I can go with you on that for a little bit, but even being with the psyop guys, because I was civil affairs and psyop, that was the military MOS that we had, right? They're not releasing shit like that. like,
I
but
mean,
look, their psyop missions
remember,
are
hey, remember
crazy.
there was Operation Kitty,
I
Goose
get
and
that.
Kitty.
I get
So
that.
there's they do weird stuff.
For
I'll
the
say this: they
CIA,
do weird stuff. I'm
yeah.
not gonna sit there and say I won't say that it's totally not plausible.
No,
I don't think they did that, but you never know.
I mean, there's like you said, there's always Operation Acoustic Kitty,
There's always, yeah.
and I'm pretty sure they should have called it Autistic Kitty, but whatever, because that plan was doomed from the start. Like, it's for real. But look, like if it's Operation, I don't know, because look, small towns, word gets around quick enough. Like that's like science. Everyone
Well,
knows
look,
that.
it's kind of like what was the name of that movie? The Crazies.
Okay.
Did you ever see that?
No.
Well, a plane goes down. It had some kind of germ or something like that in it. And what did the government do? They went in there and it it got into the water, so it started making everybody crazy into like zombie like
Oh
thing.
shit.
So the government went in there and basically, we're gonna take you, but they took out the whole town.
Yeah. Wow.
Trying to like stop it and bombed it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's crazy.
That's
But it was
that's
like now we have to take out this whole town. We're gonna have everyone's going nuts and stuff. I mean, it could be.
I I mean, I don't put anything past our government at all. At at all. Could
I know it's
we?
a hard pill to swallow when you think of it. Like, man, why
But I
would they
mean,
do that? Like, what do they
no.
get out of that? But it's like it's a psychological thing. How do people react um to information? Dude, look at Orson Welles when he did War of the Worlds. It was
Yes,
fake. It was
that was
not real,
and people
right? And
flip
people
their
flipped their
shit.
shit.
Yep.
Yes. And it was on the radio. This was just a pretend thing. Everyone thought it was real.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
again, back then in the 70s, how easily, not like people aren't easily influenced now, but look how easily information spreads. Wrong information could have spread, and how easily people were influenced and were thinking all kinds of crazy stuff.
But the guy swears on this, right? So if we take his firsthand account as fact, because we can only do that, right? And
Right.
I mean, honestly, I don't trust a truck driver because, bro, they see
Truck
weird shit all the
drivers are
time.
like
Like,
roaming serial killers.
yeah, man, they're going fast, they're sleep deprived, they're caffeinated or drugged up. Like, especially in the 70s, like, yeah, I don't trust anything they see.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I can only go off of this dude who had The only person with any physical evidence or any physical documentation that there was something left behind, right? He had the footprints and he had the scratch marks, stuff that
Hmm.
he couldn't have made. I mean, I
Right.
guess he could have if it was
So
that elaborate. But
yeah,
let's say,
it's all supposed.
yeah, like let's. Oh wait, I thought the police got saw the footprints and the scratch marks.
Well, supposedly, I mean, I don't want to sit there and say like it's totally fact, like they have it, but it's up in the air, right?
Oh,
It,
okay,
it
okay,
could have been, could have.
man. Well, that I mean,
And they're saying that the police did see it. They're saying police did see the footprints and stuff like that. Scratch. Well, obviously, they're going to see the scratch marks, and they come to the house and
yeah,
say, "What the fuck was this?"
yeah. I just feel like if it isn't an elaborate hoax and it isn't a mutant kangaroo, which I think is the stupidest thing.
Some mutated Tigger.
I mean, everyone in their mom has a porch rifle out there in Illinois. I'm assuming, just like
You
out
think,
here.
man? You
I mean,
think?
not Mr. McDaniels who comes out with a BB gun to try to cap the interdimensional alien, but
Yeah.
whatever. Um, yeah, I just what would it be to check all the boxes? Because remember, I feel like anything that can check all the boxes has the best chance of being true because it's all up in the air anyway, right?
Hmm.
So what scenario checks all the boxes and that fits in this reality? That could even aliens, like let's say even aliens, I would give you like, okay, that clearly checks this. But what it lacks is the Men in Black. If it's an alien thing, right? If it's an extraterrestrial thing, you're gonna have the Men in Black somewhere. Somewhere there's
Or
gonna
some
be
version of them, right?
some version of them, not just freaking Barney Fife rolling up.
Right.
You're gonna have the people that aren't identified, like those guys. Like, where's your badge? I don't need the badge. Those guys that are like
Right.
above that, right? They weren't there. Those are usually your first responders to this. They're oddly, they get sent by Blafion early to go handle their business,
Right. Right.
right? There's no accounts of that. There's no early responders, So okay, then what the fuck could check all the boxes if this thing is real? Because we have to assume this thing is a real account, right? Like,
Right.
okay, let's say this guy saw something, he was scared, and he was scared for his kids. So that's real fear. Fear enough to call the police. Fear enough to shoot around out
Whatever it was
to
that was standing there.
something, right?
Right.
So if we take it like that, then what could it have been? Because the alien route is most believable, but it doesn't smell like an alien.
No. There was an Enfield horror connection to other cryptid sightings as well.
Huh.
Some researchers have linked Enfield monster to other strange creatures seen in the Midwest around the same time, including the Dover Demon, which is Massachusetts in 1977, the Frogmen of Ohio from 55 in 1972, and the Mount Vernon monster in Illinois as well, also in 1973. So it could have been the Mount Vernon monster could have been the same thing.
So like a misidentification or uh basically they're seeing the same thing, all of
Man,
them.
it could be. If the infant monster was real, was it part of a border wave of strange creatures appearing in the U.S. in the 70s? Some suggest that the government was secretly aware of these beings and actively suppressing information. Dude, it could be like the fucking uh, what? Like you said, they probably coming over here and from another dimension and
Yeah,
just
but
dropping them off.
I mean that kind of sounds similar. If you I don't know, I'm not too familiar with the other two cryptids, but like a frogman, that hops? Didn't that thing hop?
Yeah, Frogman. Yeah, I would assume so. That would be my guess.
I mean, what else was he eating flies on a lily pad? Like,
Probably if he was
did he have a
Frogman.
banjo? Was he singing on a log? Like, I don't know that would be. So it could be a misidentification or a re-identification. I don't know if a re-identification even is a word or a statement, but it's just like, okay, it could be all this. Could be all the same fucking thing.
Right.
Like how they have a Mothman sighting in the UK.
Right. I mean, yeah, he got on a boat that went over there.
Yeah, he
Could be,
escaped Van Helsing's silver trap.
Right, yeah. They're trying to put him in the Vatican.
Yeah.
But despite these theories, the true nature of the Enfield monster remains a mystery with no definitive evidence to confirm any particular explanation. That, my friends, is the story of the Enfield monster. Cryptid monster, or just some other paranormal alien,
I don't know,
as
man.
you
That's
said,
nuts.
maybe.
That's nuts. Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Creature
yeah.
going in between parallel universes.
I mean,
Or just a wild kangaroo went a wild,
it went crazy.
went crazy,
Oh, this is what I was going to tell you. Did you know that there is a wild population of wallabies in the UK?
Is there
Yeah,
wallabies?
wallabies. Yeah, like
Really?
there's a I think a rich family, and the people that are watching this from the UK, which I know they are, can attest to this. There is something. There was a rich lady that loved wallabies. Right, they're like small kangaroos, right?
Yeah.
And she had this affinity for collecting them. So
Huh.
she got a bunch and then she died. And guess what? Kind of like Escobar's cocaine hippos, they just multiplied and they thrive there now. And they have a population of wild wallabies. So,
Really interesting.
So there's that. There's
Wallabies.
wallabies, like Rocco's Modern Life. Those guys. But yeah, man, that's wild. I don't know. I
Huh.
just
Yes.
I know
Tiny
how I
little
would act.
kangaroo.
That would mess me up so bad. I would love to see what McDaniels is doing now. If he's on a rocking chair with his hair all crazy, family left him, and whittling it like a stick on his porch.
I'm pretty sure he's not around anymore.
Oh yeah. Well, 70s wasn't. It was long ago, wasn't it?
That was wild. A little while
I
ago.
don't know. No, it wasn't. I was born in 87.
He's probably gone.
I don't know. I mean, if he was old, they would have called him Old Man McDaniels.
Nah, well, I mean, in '73 when he had his kids, I mean, he probably was older. He's dead. He's fucking get the bucket, dude.
I don't know, but anyway, I would just have loved to seen if it was like a deathbed confession or some shit like that.
He's like, come here, let me tell you something.
It was bullshit.
I made it up.
Yeah, it was me the whole time. It was my lesson for you to teach to lock the door.
Yeah. Anyway, well, thank you guys for joining us. Daniel, thank you for joining us. Yeah. Again, if you guys are enjoying this, please leave a comment, like the video, subscribe, do all the good stuff. Helps the channel out every little bit. We appreciate you all for joining us. Come back again next time. Daniel, see you again. See you later. Peace.
Later. Yes.
In a world of shadows and hidden truths, we search for answers, we chase the clues. A podcast of enigma. It's all surreal, unleashing secrets. It's time to reveal. Chasing the giftings. Conspiracies unveiled, mysteries exposed. We're diving deep with you. Down UFOs to government schemes. Together